Hello everyone, I'm Richa Shekhar, Assistant Professor, School of Business, Kangotias University, Yamuna Expressway. And in the present discussion, we would be covering about Personality Type Assessment 2. The present discussion is on MBTI, which is one of the most widely used tools for assessing personality in organizations. Our previous discussion was personality attributes that influences OB, and we had covered self-esteem, self-monitoring, locus of control, Machiavellianism, type A personality, type B behavior. The present discussion would include an input from this. The objectives of this session include the following: understanding and applying personality type, MBTI and introduction, the persistence of type, understanding type and career choice, the four preference dichotomies, type, four dimensions of personality, combinations, 16 different personality types, what makes MBTI unique. There's a video on Myers-Briggs Type Indicator which gives you an overview of MBTI, and we have also certain web links for future reading and reference. If you remember, in the previous session we had understood or tried to understand why personality type knowledge is important. Going further with this discussion, the following factors can tell us why understanding and also the application of personality type is crucial for success in an organization. The first is enhanced leadership. How do you think that leadership gets identified in organizations? When I'm able to achieve my targets, when I'm able to lead others through my example. For example, a person makes a team of 4 and identifies people matching their personality types. For sure, the team that has been made by this leader would achieve for which it was made. They would achieve all the goals and objectives in a manner expected. Improved teamwork. A person came and complained about his colleague. He said that I have a chauvinist in my group and there are 2 females also. In such a scenario, there will not be a smooth sailing of the boat. Therefore, the team is changed and Mr. Chauvinist is removed from the team. When I have like-minded people working as a team, the results are going to be more promising. Just imagine if you have to host a party or host a program in organizations or maybe in a college. Whom would you count on? You would include only those people in your team with whom your chemistry matches. Now, how do you know that which chemistry matches? By understanding the personality type of the person you want in your team. You have clearer communications. A person who has a very good understanding of personality would go at length to understand not only about an action but also why that action. He is able to have a very clear communication channel across the organization. Greater utilization of personal strengths. I know that one person is a Mac. Maybe he is a Mac. But the scenario demands that I need a Mac. I cannot take people who has a low self-monitoring, means who is very straightforward maybe. I need person who is very manipulative because We have a great dynamic world outside. Organizations are dynamic, situations are dynamic, environments are dynamic, and therefore, maybe a person who is a high mark can help to achieve the goals of the organizations as compared to the person who's not. Reduced conflicts. What is conflict? A very layman definition is a non-agreement, a disagreement. When things do not match, that is conflict. When you have like-minded personality type people working in a team or in an organization, there are less disturbances. There are less reluctant behavior. There is less no answers. You have more of a union, a more of a unison in the organization. You have an improved decision making because you know that some people can excel at what work and some people can be better fit for others. Decision making by far is the most important tool for any organizational manager. Increased morale. How does your morale increase when you want to understand people and their personality type? Personality is a sum total of certain experiences. For example, a person who has been to a different school, environment, friend circle, maybe country. We have expatriates now. In such a situation, it's very important that you are having a very high level of morale and which is only exhibited if you understand the personality, the type of people you're working with. It increases by default not only your morale but also the morale of the person you're facing because there is more ethical practices, there's more justice imbibed in the organization culture. MBTI. The theory of psychological type comes from Swiss psychiatrist Carl G. Jung. Jung observed and analyzed the way people take in and then process and organize information. He laid out his theory of personality and in 1921 wrote that what appears to be random behavior is actually the result of differences in the way people prefer to use their mental capacities. The Myers-Briggs indicator personality inventory is firmly grounded in this theory and was first presented in his book Psychological Types. Catherine C. Briggs and her daughter Isabel Briggs Myers devised an instrument, the MBTI Questionnaire, to assess typology. During the World War II, the mother-daughter team of Isabel Briggs Myers and Catherine Cook Briggs set out to find an easier way for people to use Jung's theory and ideas in everyday life. This MBTI assessment of type has been available and published form since 1943. The MBTI is one of the most widely used psychological assessments in the world and has been validated in over 8,000 research studies, which means it has a validity that cuts across cultures and countries. A major reason for the popularity of the MBTA instrument is its relevance in many quite diverse areas. For example, education, career development, organizational behavior, group functioning, team development, personal and executive, coaching, psychotherapy, etc. The MBTI questionnaire purports to identify the differences through a 93-item self-administered paper and pencil questionnaire. The persistence of type. What is type? Type is generally ingrained and does not change over time. However, the strength of the preferences may change as you have life experiences and adapt to new situations. Every type is equally valid, but the type does not assess intelligence, aptitude, skill, and normalcy. Why is it important to understand the type we belong to and the career choice? Preference dictates natural inclination. The combination that I pick up decides my natures or my own behavioral inclination. Developing adaptive strategies to work against the type. Environment can shift strength of preference, but it does not negate the preference. Type can be really helpful when deciding on work environment. The four preference dichotomies type, that means the four dimensions of personality. We have extroversion or introversion, that is how you prefer to get energized. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Sensing or intuition, how you prefer to take in information. Are you more intuitive or you are sensing it, means you're more into some practical support, thinking or feeling, how you prefer to make decisions, judging or perceiving, how you prefer to approach life. All eight categories of preference pose, or at least one or another aspect that can be a part of your personality, are used to at least some of the time by every person. However, individuals are assumed to have an innate disposition toward one pole of each dichotomy. If you ask me personally, maybe I can put myself as an extrovert who has a bit of intuition, who is more into a thinking state and is more perceiving. Likewise, every person can fall his or her own identity in various combinations of these dichotomies. The four dichotomies is like how you prefer to get energized, take in information, decision making and approaches in life is important because that governs the way you work in the organization. Your personal and organizational goals achievement is much influenced by the kind of personality dimensions that you are selecting for yourself. We have 16 different personality types, that is the combination. We discussed about the concept of type. Now this is what we were discussing. ISTJ, introverted sensing with thinking. ISFP, look at the sixth one, introverted feeling with sensing. ESTP, extroverted sensing with thinking. A question might come to our mind. Which one is best? Are certain categories considered as best? Or should we identify and it's equally good? It is for you to decide. But literature do talk about certain combination. For example, ESTJs are considered as good performers. They are extroverted thinking with intuition. Moving forward with those different combinations for personality types, let us go and discuss a few. For example, INTJ. They're innovative, independent, strategic, logical, reserved, insightful. They're driven by their own original ideas to achieve improvements. Let us consider it as ESTJ, efficient, outgoing, analytical, systematic, dependable, and realistic. They like to run the show and get things done in an orderly fashion. Similarly, you can go through the various other combinations given and the characteristics defined in detail. Now, understanding these personality types will help you to match people with the jobs. What makes MBTI unique? The MBTI instrument does not evaluate mental health. There are no bad or unhealthy results. So when you take a test of MBTI to understand the personality combination, the type you are in, you need not be worried. You need not be bothered as to what the result might come, because it does not say that any combination is bad or unhealthy. The MBTI instrument sorts individuals into opposite categories, both of which are desirable. Many instruments measure the amount or degree of a trait, such as shyness or detail orientation. Usually, it's a desirable to have more or less of a trait, whereas with the MBTI instrument, both categories are desirable. So that is a added advantage over here. The MBTI instrument does not compare your results to those of other people. It is just an evaluation of your own self. It describes the interaction between all preferences to create a whole type pattern rather than just adding up. The MBTI instrument allows you to determine your own personality type through personal verification process, leaving the final assessment of your type in your hands. One of the best results or one of the best reason why an MBTI can be exceptionally good is once you've identified a combination, there is no harm in taking the other. You can improve upon yourself. You can have a self-assessment and no one is going to categorize you or categorically point out you for certain type you have selected. So that is one of the best, I would say, input that MBTI gives us. Here is a links given for MBTI. You can directly type on such links and know the personality type you are. And www.mbti.com is the official website for MBTI information, and it can help you to understand which personality type you are. For the present discussion, we have references from these books and also certain web addresses for future study. Thank you very much for this session. Stay safe, stay healthy.